in summary, the total cost for this one single annual was... What's going on, guys? Welcome back to JR Aviation. Now, if you're an astute viewer, you would know that one of our planes has not been featured on the channel in a while. And that plane is our beloved F33A right here. Now, there's a reason for that. Owen and I are about to hit the skies. We'll explain everything in depth. It just underwent its first, I guess its second annual. And let's just say it didn't exactly go as planned. It got very nasty and expensive very quickly. But it's back now. It's back 3 months, wait, about 3 months, right? Yeah. A 3-month annual. It's the biggest bill we have ever spent on a car, plane, maintenance item. We're gonna explain all that in today's video while we go flying for a nice $100 hamburger up north. Where are we going? Ukiah, California. He says, you wanna go north or south? I'm like, you know, I've never been to Northern California, north of the bay, so let's go explore. Let's pull this bad boy out, start it up, and hit the skies. There she is, pulled out in the sun. Holy smokes, I forgot how good this paint looks. Look at it, glowing. It's not like it was washed yesterday or something. Owen's been putting a ton of hours on it during this break-in period. Oh boy, I'll explain in just a second, but look at the paint. Gus and the whole team over at Master Aircraft Painting got this plane looking right. You all remember that whole reveal video and the whole restoration overhaul of this plane. If you haven't yet seen the build go down on the channel, go back right now and watch all those videos. The brand new interior by Aviation Creations, Ron and crew absolutely crushed it. And then of course, the showstopper, this panel by Advanced Aviation in Reno. All the Avidyne units and the Dynon glass displays make this F33A an absolute showstopper. Fire in the hole. Yeah, buddy. Starts right up.
Reground Bonanza 62 Juliet Romeo, Row Quebec with Whiskey. We're a Calaveras departure.
Bonanza 62 Juliet Romeo, reach Heavy Ground, good afternoon, runway 31 right, taxi via Zulu.
Good afternoon, 31 right via Zulu, 2 Juliet Romeo.
A little run up, guys. Check how those new mags are doing. Alright, so this is my maiden voyage with it after all the work, but Owen's been flying it a little bit like I said, but this is nearly one of the first flights since this plane was ripped apart in a million pieces. You should have seen it a month or two ago. No engine in it, the firewall all ripped apart. Where do we even start? We'll start in the sky. Let's let Owen take off here.
Tower Bonanza 62 Juliet Romeo, home short, through and right, ready to go.
Bonanza 62 Juliet Romeo, read W Tower, right turn out, runway 39 clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, through and right turn out, 2 Juliet Romeo. Positive rate, gears coming up.
That new gear sounds good. That's another thing that was done. All right, guys, she leaped right off the ground. Looking good so far. We're gonna take the east way around the bay on the way up to lunch. And then on the way back, as a little treat toward the end of this video, we're gonna try to go through San Francisco, do a little bay tour. Alright guys, we're nice and level now, 3,500 feet, 75% power because we are currently breaking in the airplane engine.
Did not see that one coming.
Yeah, if you know what that means some serious engine work was done, and oh boy.
Just started with the simple annual, was just hoping for a quick in and out, but it all started when they went to do the compression check. 3 out of our 6 cylinders were really low. So we decided to dig into it a little bit, and what do we find?
Yeah, so there's ways to get your compressions up. Perhaps we could try a couple of our tricks. But then again, we're like, we're probably gonna keep this plane forever, so why not just invest, make it really nice, do it right, not just try to buy ourselves another year of flying before we then have to mess with the cylinders. And another thing happened which really sealed our fate, and that was while they were screwing around the engine, looking at the compressions, they were like moving it. Somehow they like moved the engine, and it like rocked. The whole engine frame, firewall area, all the metal, sheet metal, that whole tunnel like moved. Maybe they were like pushing the plane. I don't know what made them find that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's something they check after that previous airplane. They just shake the engine, and sure enough, it was kind of shifting up against the firewall.
The whole tunnel was moving, all that metal. And
crazy.
They're like, guys, we have some bad news. When they told us that, we're like, oh shoot. We're like, what does that mean? You just have to like, like redo a few rivets, like the engine can stay in place and everything? They're like, no, engine has to be removed, and we have to re-rivet the entire tunnel firewall area. At that point, we're like, well, geez, engine's gonna have to be removed. Instead of just doing a couple tricks to get the compressions up, we might as well just basically rebuild the engine while it's off the plane.
Yeah.
That exposed a massive rabbit hole, and we just like dove right into the hole. What did we do to this engine?
Did we pull up the list?
I think so. It started with removing those 3 cylinders.
Right.
We were like, okay, we'll just replace the cylinders, bite the bullet, do it right. Well, when they removed the cylinders, deja vu, just like our first Cirrus debacle, corrosion on the lifters and cam. At that point, once you see it, once you visually take off a cylinder and see wear on the cam, it's unairworthy. You can't put it back together at that point. So just like our first SR20, the whole thing has to be ripped apart and either overhauled or like IRAN. Everything has to come apart. Okay, so let's go down this engine bill. We have 2 different bills, the bill for the annual and the bill for the engine. Disassemble Continental IO520 BB for IRAN inspection. Remove and replace camshaft, tappets, main bearings and gaskets. Installed 6 overhauled cylinders. That's every one of them. It's a 6-cylinder engine. For the parts list, major overhaul gasket set, main bearing set, bolts and whatever, hydraulic tappet intake, lift, intake, exhaust, bearing starter adapter, bushing magneto drive. Okay, so just the IRAN disassembly and removal of the engine is $5,000. So that's our starting point. The 6 new cylinders.
Well, timeout. The removal and the reinstallation of the engine itself was $5,000. The disassembly was another $5,000.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
we haven't even gotten to the other invoice. To start the IRAN's $5,000. And then of course we needed the cylinders. 3 were low, but 3 were also in like the 50s and 60s. It's like, okay, at this point on the engine, these are the original cylinders, and they have about 1,575 hours on them, or 1,600 hours.
Yes.
So they made it a long way. And with Continental cylinders, you don't usually get 2 TBO of 2,000. They usually fall short. This made it 1,550. I'm pretty happy with that. But at this point, we're like, okay, they were new cylinders, so our friend Nick, who did all the work, this mechanic, he has an engine shop as well, he could overhaul the cylinders because they were first run. They hadn't been overhauled prior, so they had life left in them. So we went through, replaced all the, oh my gosh, valve guides, and redid the pistons. Like, everything to do with these cylinders are fresh and new. And at this point, it was really hard to make a decision whether we just overhaul the entire engine or do this IRAN. Basically do nearly everything an overhaul would be anyway, but it would save us a little bit of time and money. This is where we want you guys to comment down below. Are we stupid for at 1,600 hours on this engine not going through the full overhaul, and instead doing that, splitting the case and doing this entire IRAN with all these new parts and it not being considered an overhaul? This decision of ours will probably be up for debate, and a lot would argue it was probably not the best decision to do that, and we should have just paid the extra money to make it a full overhaul. But the problem with that is all these shops are so backed up where you send the case to, when you send the crank out, they take forever to get back. So this 3-month annual, if we were overhauling the entire engine, would have gotten turned into 5, 6, 7, 8 months. You never know with these parts delays, it gets ridiculous when it comes to overhauling an engine. So we didn't want to go that route, and we hopefully made the right decision. But comment down below if 1,600 hours we should have just overhauled everything. But anyway, going down the list, major overhaul gasket set, $500, bearing set, $700, hydraulic tappet, intake, $2,300, bearing starter adapter, bushing magneto, the 6 exhaust valves, $400 a piece. $2,400 for a little valve. The camshaft being overhauled was $800, so total labor $6,800. Actually not that bad. Nick's a great guy, he helps us out, he's fair with us. But the parts, $8,200. So out the door, just for the engine work, $15,887. That's a lot, but a lot was done. So I think we got a good deal for what was done. If you're an IA, if you own a shop, comment down below. I think that was a great deal. It would have been probably an extra 15,000 bucks to go through with the full overhaul. So we saved ourselves some money for sure, but we also saved a lot of time. So that was our decision. But at this point, this engine's probably good to go for another 1,000 hours if I had to guess. This thing's gonna go way past TBO, especially because it's the IO520BB. It's the heavier case. So that's got plenty of life, and Nick, when he was going through the engine, he's like, everything looks really good. Your lower end, your upper end's all brand new, so it'll go a long time.
Especially because we're gonna kind of baby this engine going forward. We don't know how the previous owner or owners ran this thing. Obviously, we'll be, bringing the power back. We're not gonna be running it hard the whole flight and just being generous with how we lean, our leaning procedures. So hopefully that'll extend the longevity of the engine in the future going forward.
I'm really fascinated with oils and engine procedures and leaning and all that stuff. So I think from here on out, obviously we're going to be really good caretakers of this engine. So I wouldn't be surprised if we can get like 1,000 extra hours out of it. That'd be really cool to get to like 2,600 hours before needing to overhaul it. Maybe 3,000. Let's just go as long as we can go before it starts making metal, low compression again, or catastrophic failure. Hopefully, definitely not that. We should be good for a long time on the engine. Anyway, that's just half the bill. That's not even half the bill. The whole rest of the annual was very expensive as well.
28 minutes.
Apparently, it's some of the best tacos around, Owen says. We're not going on a $100 hamburger run. We're going on a
$100 taco.
$100 taco run.
Yeah, if you guys have ever been to Ukiah, it's been a couple years since I've been, but as far as I know, she's still there. Across the street at the supermarket is this lady outside. Barely speaks any English, but cooks the best dang tacos I've ever had.
Like I said, stay tuned for the Bay Tour at the end of this video. Okay, more expensive bill. The engine bill's done now. So of course, that's why we're breaking it in. So we have to, for about 15, 20 hours, run mineral oil.
Yep.
And then we switch to the normal oil, 20, 50 Phillips with some cam guard. And then we should be smooth down from there. But yeah. Explain what we do on the break-in for those that don't know.
Yeah, so we're staying low so we can achieve 75% power. So in this case, this airplane with this engine is about 25 squared, so 25 inches of manifold pressure, 2,500 RPMs, giving us about 75% power. Then every 10 minutes, we'll reduce the power to 65% and continue that process all the way till 15, 20 hours.
Okay, now for the bigger bill, the rest of the annual. So, first line item, of course, annual inspection for F33. That runs about $3,000. Different shops have different rates, but this shop around $3,000. That's what it starts at. That's what the work is involved to go through the plane and do all the necessary steps for an annual. And then what you find from there adds to the annual. We were hoping to be in and out for $5,000. Back in the skies, $5, $10,000. That's probably more than enough to budget. No, not even close. Remove the engine for repair and installing the engine. Yeah, that's that other part that he was talking about. Another $5,600. So that's to physically get the engine out to be able to access the firewall. And then the other $5,000 was to rip the engine apart, if that makes sense. They said it took even longer than 40 hours, but they just billed us for that. Remove and replace the rivets on nose gear tunnel. $1,120.
So that was that shaking of the engine that we were talking about.
Good thing they found it.
Yeah.
Oh, dang, that could have been terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, so maybe next time you're out at your airplane, give the engine a little shake. See if there's any play between the engine itself, the mount, and the firewall. It should obviously be flush, but in the case of this one, it's very subtle, but you can see a little bit of play. Look out for that. They said they've only seen it in one other Bonanza, typically, I guess, in higher time airplanes, but just be on the lookout for that.
Removed and replaced left main tire and tube with new. Okay, so yeah, some tires were done, $140. I'll skip a few of these items when they're just a small little amount and nothing that important, but okay, removed and replaced all seals for master cylinder and bleeding the brake system. So our master cylinder was leaking. Not a lot, but again, we just wanted everything perfect. So we just said, basically blank checkbook, do everything that you think it needs. That was $560. Removed and replaced all seals for the right main strut. That was starting to leak, he noticed.
Yep.
That was $1,000. It's always important as a pilot, like they always say, when you go into an annual, you should have a list of stuff for the mechanic of squawks. You shouldn't not say anything and just like see if he finds them. Like that's the wrong attitude. You want to go in with a list and then he should add to that list. Okay, the magnetos being overhauled, that was $1,500. Removed and replaced all flap actuator covers with new. Rigged landing gear system. Oh boy, this was the other big line item.
Yep.
It was overextending itself, something like that. It didn't stop when it should have. So the motor something was wrong in the motor. So he had to replace the motor with a good, ready to install one, $1,300, and he had to re-rig the whole system so that it sits flush. Like the gear doors before were not,
they were hanging a little bit.
They were hanging down. So he re-rigged everything, and he said that took 3 days, but again, he just charged us for 4 hours. Installed correct hardware for left and right ailerons. Oh yeah, apparently this plane just had like a ton of incorrect hardware.
Yeah.
Like throughout the whole plane. In the engine bay, aileron, stuff like that from previous owners. I'm sure they just replaced it with stuff that worked, but it's technically not the right stuff. Removed and replaced left aileron, aft rod end. I guess those rod ends typically go, so whatever, a couple $100 there. Installed flap rollers correctly, I guess they were incorrect. Replaced the right up lock covers and both up springs. New tire, $416. Ouch. Tire sponsors, please hit us up. Goodyear, Michelin, please. We've had to buy way too many tires. Yeah, just various costs for fluids, oil, the mineral oil. 12 quarts of that, $129. All the kits and seals and all that jazz. The pivot bolts for left and right gear. Yeah, anyway, those are all the items. Oh boy, you keep track of the money? Here we go. Total for parts, $2,985. Oh, it's the labor for everything. Again, 3 months they had it. $15,869.
Ouch.
Out the door. $18,313. What the heck? This is not the Citation.
Right. What happened?
What? So all together, so we're on the same page here, out the door to get the keys for this plane to be able to fly it today, we had to hand over a check for $34,200.
Oh.
I mean, they said owning an airplane is expensive, but that's like some people's salary for the year.
That's crazy. The down payment on a nice car.
Yeah.
Imagine what kind of car you could buy with that kind of money.
Down payment for a Ferrari or airplane servicing. Ah, that one really hurt. Again, guys, if this was the 501, I'd be like, oh, great, we're out the door on an annual for $34,000. We're good. This is a Bonanza, which we didn't pay that much more than $34,000 for in the first place. I'm just thinking like the total costs were in this plane right now. Holy crap, that went 0 to 100 real quick.
Yeah.
The panel, the paint, the interior, this massive annual. And our first annual, guys, let's not forget, our first annual back in Texas was over $10,000, I think.
Yep.
So we figured after dropping so much money a year ago that it's not going to be that bad this year. Well, different set of eyes, probably a more thorough set of eyes going through it, which we like. Safety's #1 priority. So at least future subsequent annuals, I can't see much coming up.
I agree.
Like we did everything.
Yeah, hopefully going forward, should be just straightforward. Do the required items, maybe a couple squawks, and that's it. No more tearing in engines or any of that stuff. But
God. So that's why it hasn't been on the channel forever. So comment down below. What are your thoughts? Have you ever been in a similar position? I already know we're going to have some great comments, but please, if you have first-hand experience on an unexpected annual bill, please, we'd love to hear it down below. I think it would be insightful for anyone who might want to own an airplane. Instead of renting, they might want to buy one, but they don't know the costs associated with it. Be sure to comment your experience down below. Of course, that's going to be a lot of horror stories in the comments, so also share your experience if you own an airplane and it's been nothing but easy annuals. That's the thing. You never truly know. You kind of got to expect the unexpected, the worst case scenario. You got to budget for that just in case, because it can be really expensive, or it can be just $5,000 annuals and nothing comes up your entire ownership.
Down below, you will find a GoFundMe link for the next annual on 62JR. It would be much appreciated if you guys could help us.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. We knew we were so getting ourselves into. We would never ask you guys for money. You guys watching the videos is enough. We get to do our dream every single day. You guys are literally the best. The channel has been exploding lately. Absolutely crushing it on the views, the subscriber count. We just crossed over 100,000 subscribers, so thank you so much. We greatly appreciate it, and we will happily go through the pain of annuals and all the upkeep on all these planes so that we can provide you guys with some of the best content out there.
13 minutes out.
13 minutes out. Is this like a... What kind of airport is this?
It's just a small, uncontrolled airfield. Actually, funny enough, there's a guy up here. He's the big reskinner around here, so I'm always taking up ailerons up here so he can reskin them. And other than that, not much going on. Cal Fire, I think, has some airplanes here, and that's about it.
All right, let's get this landing on video.
Ukiah, Bonanza 62 Juliet Romeo, midfield, left down, 15 Ukiah.
Caution, terrain, caution, terrain. Caution.
Yeah, we know.
Bit of a mountain there.
Ahead. Pull up. Terrain 1000.
That's cool. That's all built in.
Alright, he's clear over there. Bonanza 2 Juliet Romeo, short final 15.
500. 400. 300.
Alright, gears down 3 green.
200. 100.
Go get some tacos, huh?
Boom. Yeah, watching the sun.
Oh yeah,
Air
baby.
King for the Air King.
Compliments of my best friends over here.
Yep, got that for his birthday and just a way to celebrate all these successful plane deals. Okay, let's get the tacos. Oh man, we are feasting. Oh, and you were not kidding. Oh, look at the size of that. Yum. Carne asada, El Pastor, pollo, carnitas with chips and salsa verde. We are feasting. Let's go. Airplane's literally parked right over there. So if you ever come here, short walk, come to the taco lady. These are fire. Well, how they taste. Let's see. Yep. All right, just like your members. There she is, and there's self-serve over there. So Owen will taxi it over. Love the way this thing sounds, just idling by. Sounds cammed. Tell me this thing doesn't sound meaty, taxiing by. Oh yeah.
Bonanza 6-2 Juliet Romeo coming up on Marin. We're at BE33 Slant Golf, descending at a 300. Like to do a quick bay tour, then proceed down the bay shore to Reed Hillview, please.
November 6-2 Juliet Romeo NorCal approach squawk 0352.
0352, ready.
All right, here we go, guys. San Francisco, dead ahead.
Number 6-2 Juliet Romeo, ready to contact 5 miles northwest of South Toledo VOR. And the open altimeter 3001, remain north and west of the Babers on your tour.
All right, position checks northwest of the bridge to Juliet Romeo, thank you.
Okay, that's where that glass comes in handy. Great situational awareness. Got all of our maps, all of our engine monitors.
Got double synthetic.
We are redundancy here. So this is going to make going through this insanely hectic airspace a little easier. We could just see one little part of the bridge.
There we go.
One single piece. Heck yeah, Alcatraz is right down
Basically
there.
right below us.
This is sick.
Never gets old, man.
We're going 193 miles an hour. True right now. We are ripping. The heck is all that?
Treasure Island. They're doing some developing now.
Yeah, that'll be expensive.
You got a nice city view.
November 2 Juliet Romeo traffic, 12 o'clock, 2 miles northwestbound, altitude indicates 700.
Looking to Juliet Romeo. Probably a helicopter or something.
Traffic is literally going 5 miles an hour.
Delta 1517, contact Oakland Center
Oh,
125,
thank you.
185, good day.
Millions and millions and millions of people, literally. And speaking of hectic airspace and crazy tours, so yeah, he went over Taylor Swift because there's no TFR.
Yeah, a little tricky because Levi Stadium's right under the San Jose departure corridor. It's in the Charlie, but also the departures go right over. So they had to work me in between some departures, and other than that, super cool. Front row seats, you know. Obviously, we were at a safe altitude. It was amazing.
So
Such a cool
cool.
experience.
That video went viral on his pages for good reason. Now comes the other hectic.
Yeah, here we go. Now the fun really starts.
November 2 Juliet Romeo traffic, 1 o'clock, 1 mile northbound, altitude gates 1,300, you have traffic in sight?
Yeah, affirmative helicopter to Juliet Romeo.
Yep,
Good eyes. NorCal 2 Juliet Romeo, we're ready to head back like fall to 101, tower to tower.
November 2 Juliet Romeo, cleared through San Francisco Bravo airspace, headed below 2,000, west and south of Highway 101.
Alright, clearing to Bravo, out of below 2,000, south and west of the freeway, 2 Juliet Romeo. Tower Bonanza 6-2, Juliet Romeo, 1,600.
At 871 heavy on Foxtrot, cross runway 1 right, traffic will hold in position, 5583, ground point 8. Ground point 8, Cessna Citation. 62 Juliet Romeo, San Francisco Tower, altimeter is 3000.
2 Juliet.
One down.
One down, you got 1, 2, 3, 4 more to go. 5 if you include Reed Hillview.
At the next coolest view, guys, right over SFO.
Ground point 8, he'll get you to the gate. Left out the left, Bravo.
747 taxiing. What airline?
Lufthansa,
Oh yeah. New Zealand.
Okay, clear to land 2 left, United.
Lufthansa, KLM, Air France, British Airways.
Full squad.
Oh my gosh. San Carlos next.
Yes, sir.
Can I do it?
Oh, yeah.
San Carlos Tower, November 62, Juliet Romeo, 1500. Bonanza.
Altimeter 62 Juliet Romeo San Carlos Tower, fly the 101 for your transition, altimeter 299er.
Fly the 101, 2999, 2 Juliet Romeo. Just read it back, that's all they want to hear.
Moffett Tower, Bonanza 62 Juliet Romeo, 1500.
Very nice.
Bonanza 62 Romeo, correction 62 Juliet Romeo, Moffett Tower, Moffett altimeter 29908, maintain at or below 1500 south of the 101.
9 or 8, at or below 1500 south of the 101. 62 Juliet Romeo.
Nice, man.
Alright, that was a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot.
Tower Bonanza 62 Juliet Romeo, 1400.
Bonanza 62 Juliet Romeo, San Jose Tower, altimeter 29908, cross San Jose midfield at 1500.
9 or 8, cross San Jose midfield, 1500. 2 Juliet Romeo. Tower Bonanza 62 Juliet Romeo, full stop, 1500 feet with Zulu.
Perfect.
Bonanza 62 Juliet Romeo, reach Obi Tower, enter the left, downwind runway 31 left.
Left downwind for 31 left, 62 Juliet Romeo.
Nice. Don't forget after your initial call, you can abbreviate it to 2 Juliet Romeo.
Yeah. Alright, we'll give it a C performance, but we're making progress,
Hey,
guys.
practice makes perfect.
2 Juliet Romeo, runway 31 left, cleared to land.
31 left, cleared to land, 2 Juliet Romeo.
Good job.
Alright, we're good to land. 31 left. Okay, gear coming down soon, here we go.
Gear speed's 154, but I like to get it just no reason to put all that stress on it.
Yeah, definitely.
Slow way down.
3 green.
Same with the flaps. Yep, got 3 in the green.
300.
Look proper for 11.
Up in Coyote Creek Golf Course at 3,500, inbound for landing with information Zulu.
Cessna 6796 Hotel.
Beautiful.
1627.
And there you have it, back where we started, 62JR tucked in the T hangar here. Wow, that was a fun day. What do you guys think? Comment down below on our maintenance nightmare of an annual. It is what it is. I'm glad we just went with the open checkbook, doing everything right route. We could have easily cut corners, but we didn't. But comment down below what you would have done if you were faced with our same situation. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Subscribe if you're new. Like for more content coming soon. And we will look forward to seeing you guys next video. See you.
Feels right.